Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Here Lies Metal Too Many Notes Music Review. And what do we have today here? We got something very special.
Today we're here to talk about Atomic Drop.
That sounds dangerous.
With the album Wicked Is My Love. This is a one-man band thrash metal from Virginia Beach.
Let's check it out.
Virginia. And our one man is Lucas Bad News Taylor. He has written, performed, engineered, mixed, and mastered this masterpiece.
You hear that, Lucas? This is for you.
And this is actually his second album. The little note on Bandcamp here says, Atomic Drop is following up the debut album Midcard Purgatory and the 5-song EP Meat Sauce Mountain with Wicked Is My Love. Recorded during the quarantine of 2020, this jank is bigger, badder, and better than any 5-star Meltzer reviewed match. Not necessarily better than every 5-star epic, but it is up there with Hawk and Sting versus Ming and Kurosawa with Colonel Robert Parker at Clash of the Champions.
You see where this is going.
So, if you haven't caught on right now, we have a theme. This is a concept album. This is a concept band of pro wrestling.
It's about time somebody does a concept again.
I mean, there's a lot of concepts, but I have not seen the combination of thrash metal with... You would think you would have, though, actually. Thrash metal and wrestling.
I'm sure it's somewhere, but we haven't gotten to it. It's somewhere, I'm sure.
Well, we found one.
Yeah. Okay. And now it's time for the Here Lies Metal 5-point bidirectional classification scale, including categories such as genre loyalty, listenability, production style, musical complexity, and just plain fun. And please note that neither sides of these scales means good or bad. All right, so you interpret it your way. So
it's all good.
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Everyone's good here, or you wouldn't be on here. If you're not on here, you're probably bad. Okay. So
all right.
Sorry.
For our genre scale, true to nonconformist, giving this a 3.5, going slightly toward nonconformist. This is an interesting mix of various styles of extreme metal, maybe like 65% thrash, 35% heavy metal bass, but largely like of all the genres I heard listening to this, I heard thrash, I heard black thrash, I heard hard rock, heavy metal, speed metal, hair metal, death metal, even a little straight up black metal, but, you know, all within, you know, the 80s, maybe slightly early 90s. Maybe, did you hear any hardcore in there? I feel like I heard a little bit
I didn't get the hardcore, but he got everything. That's the hardcore is the kitchen sink. He got everything but the kitchen sink.
So it's all blended in there.
Yeah, it's. I was really impressed how dynamic it was. He really just covered everything he likes, I think, including wrestling, and he built it around wrestling. In every single song, I hear a lot of like specifically like what I got out of it. I hear a lot of Motley Crue in some of it, you know, obviously
in the hair metal sections.
Yeah, because obviously if you're gonna do something about wrestling, pro wrestling, I think you need some kind of like mouth breather music, like Motley Crue, and that's not like an insult to the guy making it, to Taylor here.
We are mouth breathers.
Yeah, we're you know, we understand that type of culture, but but it takes it beyond Motley Crue. It takes it like way beyond just that simpleness. It's a lot more complicated than anything Motley Crue would ever do. You know, and it's a lot more dynamic. Obviously, it goes into different genres of music, all in the same song. So it's really
it seems
really impressive.
Like the standard song structure for a lot of it was like a thrash bass that would go maybe into a heavy metal chorus and refrain, and then have these epic heavy metal guitar solos that he really enjoys.
Yeah, or just kind of beats, really just like fun beats, like beats that make you move, you know, and it kind of reminds me of like a Tommy Lee kind of drum thing to me. That's what it is to me anyway. You comment down below, Taylor, if you know, but what do you think about it?
I really got that. Like even on the thrashiest songs on there, he would just rip into these melodic heavy metal solos, not thrash solos. And also the vocals on this, it's like mostly a raspy, spitty kind of black metal thrashy vocal. But he also has like a jokey heavy metal clear vocal as well.
Yeah, you can tell that's like when he's kind of just, you know,
goofing off.
Yeah, it's making it fun.
But he needs it. It's got a lot of emotion to it.
Yeah. If it's about wrestling, you need that. You need that kind of vocal. You need to make it kind of, you know, tongue in cheek like that. You know.
So, but what did you say his thrash metal vocal sounded like?
Kind of reminds me of like when Lemmy kind of went metal, you know, kind of like in the mid '80s, you know, when, you know, Motorhead wasn't really rock and roll anymore. But, you know, obviously, but a little bit with sort of a black metal tone. I mean, it's like vocals. It's like, I can't sing kind of vocals, which is fine. So I'm just gonna do this, which sounds really good with this kind of music. I mean, what else? And it kind of sounds a little like the guy from that band Clever Tack. And that's a really bad comparison, but like it sounds like that to me. That's like a moot comparison because that guy doesn't sing for the band anymore. But that's like a weak, like, but that's what it sounds like to me. Like that guy, whoever that guy was. I'm not even pronouncing that band name right.
I think it's Clever Tack.
Clever Tack.
We're not here to talk about that.
No.
I don't even know that band.
Yeah,
all right.
They're dumb.
Sonic terror scale.
Yeah.
How terrifying? How terrified are we? Not too terrified. We're at a 3. We're kind of in the middle here.
Yeah, no offense.
It's not pop, but it's not terrifying. The reason is like the thrashy parts are, can be pretty intense, kind of cruel, so it cannot go into like the more melodic, more catchy end of this scale. But even the thrashy riffs, like they're catchy, and interesting. They're not too brutal. And a lot of the guitar parts are very memorable. A lot of like fun licks on this. Yeah. I would say fun licks.
Yeah, fun licks. As opposed to not fun licks. Yeah, we don't mean to offend you by saying you're not brutal, but you're not. But it's fine. It's fun. You don't have to be brutal all the time. I don't know if that's what you're going for. What if he's at home? He's like, damn it, what do you mean it wasn't brutal? Fuck you. But no, it was like what I really got about is your drumming, and we'll talk about that soon. But you're like, even though you're going all kinds of places with it, you're keeping the blast down to a minimum, and that's just a lot of control. It means you're just such a dynamic drummer, doing everything with those drums.
Even though it has that like thrash vocal on it, it's like an easy to follow thrash vocal. It has like this bite, and that's to the delivery that makes it very intelligible.
Yeah,
and that kind of like lends to the listenability. I would say it makes it more approachable. And I also think it's very key for the theme record, where he's got this wrestling theme, and most of the vocal is that thrash vocal. You want to hear what he's talking about because he's telling a story.
Yeah, you want to obviously learn about pro wrestling.
I don't really, most thrash I listen to, I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't even try to make the vocals out, but this was like, you can follow along, you can hear the words.
You're teaching. I learned a lot about wrestling by just, having to look up stuff about this album. So that's, and it's always been around, I've always known people that have been into wrestling, but never really paid attention to anything they said, but now I'm learning and now I'm interested and I want to talk to these people more. But,
this album also has some very wickedly catchy songs on it.
Yeah.
I would say, Hard Times. And The Rude Awakening, which I think might actually be a single, maybe. I saw it in single form.
I saw Hard Times as a single, but that's just me.
I find those in my head. Like,
yeah.
Hard Times.
Yeah, and you can't be Sonic Terror if you have catchy songs. You can't, if you have cool beats like that, you can't be Sonic Terror. That's my take.
Why are you getting defensive, trying to defend our,
Well,
it's not a code of shame to not be Sonic Terror.
No, it's not. Just you can't be. Like that's a good. And that's like I said, each side of the scale is not bad. But like you don't get to be Sonic Terror if you're trying to be Sonic Terror. You can't make your songs catchy, and you make your songs catchy, which I like.
I think the most terrifying, the most Sonic Terror end of the album is the song "Don't Call Me Fake." It's probably the meanest black thrash song on there. Very fitting, kind of Slayer. It gets a Slayer out of Slayer. Except, of course, for its melodic heavy metal guitar solo.
Yeah, he'll throw one of those in every song.
Doesn't matter how thrashy it is. It's not giving you that nonsensical thrash solo. You're getting a melodic solo.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, very fun songs, engaging and varied sounding, dynamic. All right, Fisher Price to high production. This is a 2? This is a 2. Good, dirty DIY production. You can tell this guy did it himself. He did it about as well as possible by himself. And it's got this very nice, dirty, retro, of course, feel to it.
Yeah, I like that. To me, it's all about the drums. That's what's really coming out to me on this. As a person in a band that is always frustrated with drummers, like I'm like, wow, like, and I feel like you did this all yourself because maybe you're frustrated with drummers, so you're just a really good drummer. You just did it all yourself, which is awesome. Like you rule. You are what we need in the music industry from now on. Will you be my drummer? Drumming is. I'm gonna keep talking about the drumming. The sound is just warm. It was big. It was very Tommy Lee like, but like in a way, a lot better than Tommy Lee. Like you're doing things that Tommy Lee would never do. Like Tommy Lee kind of just beats the thing, boom, bop, boom, and it's catchy. But you're going from that, then you go into a blast, and you go into a thrash, you go into black metal. Like you've got it all, and it still sounds great. So but yeah, they're very dominant, and it's like it's almost like those beats you have, those four on the floor kind of. That just works at pro wrestling. I just picture the guys coming out, when they come out, like that one of your songs playing. I bet that's what you wanted. You wanted this to be the soundtrack to like some probably like 90s wrestling. I don't think you're not mentioning anything about like today's wrestling. So I'm imagining you're like a fan of like the golden days. That's as they probably call them. But yeah, it's like a theme. Like your song should be like a theme of of someone's favorite wrestler. Who knows? And who is your favorite wrestler? Comment down below. Who is your favorite guy? But yeah, and and obviously we talked a lot about the guitars. Yeah, there's a bass too. You played a bass too, but that doesn't seem that dominant to me. And as thrash goes, doesn't really need to be. I mean, your bass playing is good. I can hear it, and it's solid, and it's where it needs to be. But it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing sticking out. But it's just fine. You could have just not had a bass, and no one probably would have cared. People wouldn't have been like, "Hey, where's the bass?" Wouldn't. It's like it's like Justice for All. Like no one at the time noticed, and they look back like, "Hey, there was no bass in that album," and it's like a controversy today. But
Okay, let's count the notes. Giving this 2.5 on the side of not too many notes, but it's middle of the road. We've got notes. It's a lot of notes because the album is quite fast. But for the majority of it, it's not terribly complex. Most of the riffs are pretty simple. A lot of repeated notes. We've got some zeros. But the things that stand out that bring it up from, like getting too far down is the solos, the guitar solos. I want to highlight the solos on Hollywood Blondes, Butts and Seats, and The Dangerous Alliance versus Sting's Squadron. These solos are extremely dramatic. And they're very they're like telling a story. There's like highs and lows in the solo,
Yeah, they're typical good guitar solos. They kind of remind me of something Marty Friedman would do, or someone like that, someone of that caliber. Not like Kerry King or like Gary Holt or even like Kirk Hammett. Their solos are a little more. Well, Kerry King is usually just kind of his solos are like chaotic. Maybe you could say about Gary Holt, and Kirk Hammett's solos like compare like bluesy. Which is kind of just whatever you want to do with that. But your solos are like trained kind of like you do a lot of classical kind of stuff almost. A little too complex for most of the theme of this. But that's what just makes it, maybe that works with it even more, because maybe something about wrestling should be in your face and bombastic and huge and ridiculous. So maybe, that's what you're going for, that like classic kind of metal ridiculousness. And I think your solos are ridiculous, and that's a good thing. Like, your solos are ridiculous. That's like not saying you're bad. I mean, you're maybe too good for this. But
yeah, also bringing up our note scale here is the drumming. As Maledictus has mentioned, the drumming is tight, fast, and exciting.
Best part. I want your drumming. Can you play drums for me?
He doesn't need you. He's a one-man band. No one
needs. We go over this every time. I'm like, every time we go over a one-man band, I'm like, wow, that's really good. You want to play drums? And and it's like, and the answer is they don't need you, and it's right. They don't. No one.
They're probably better at using guitar.
They're better at everything. They're better at me than on the saxophone, probably. But but it's damn good. Everything he's doing is great. Very impressive.
Right. For our final scale, the fun scale, what could we do but give this a 1 for fun? It's about fucking wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't be serious about.
And again, I want.
He's probably serious. He's probably mad right now.
There's just a lot of moments in this album that I just kind of laughed. I think my favorite was the clear vocal on Butts and Seats.
Yeah.
It's like butts and seats. Yeah. I don't know.
What does that mean, by the way? Comment down below. I couldn't find a reference for that, but I don't know. Is that like a term they use? Get the butts in the seats? I don't know.
All right. Clearly, we're not big wrestling people. I feel like my most exposure to wrestling is seeing comedy, parodying wrestling, but from a place of love. We love wrestling, yeah. And I've seen that more than I've seen actual wrestling. What about you, Maledictus? Are you familiar with wrestling?
Well, did you know wrestling was fake? Did you know it was fake?
I have heard that.
That's like getting, it's like one of those things that's like, okay, you could stop saying that now.
Well, I've heard, the stories are fixed, but the hits are real.
You could say that. So there's a lot of references you did in this album, Taylor. In some of the names of the songs. I kind of looked up what these things mean, being that, and these are obviously historical events in wrestling. I think most of them are from the 90s, I think. But for your first track, Tatanka and the $1 Million Corporation, some people are like, what's that? Well, I'm going to explain what that is. And of course, you can comment down below.
All right, keep it brief, please.
Okay. So the $1 Million Corporation was a professional wrestling stable, as they call them, the World Wrestling Federation, from April 1994 to 1996, and was managed by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And I remember that guy. And during the summer of 1994, it's a 90s thing, obviously, Tatanka accused Lex Luger, I remember that guy, of selling out to Ted DiBiase, which resulted in a match between the two. Afterwards, DiBiase entered the ring with a red, white, and blue sack full of money. Luger kicked it out of his hand, and DiBiase, and resulting in Tatanka attacking him and turning into a villain at SummerSlam, joining DiBiase's $1 Million Corporation. So that's why Tatanka and the corporation. That's that story. If you have a different take on that, because you probably saw it live, comment down below, Taylor. The Dangerous Alliance versus Sting's squad. And I don't remember the Dangerous Alliance. I remember Sting. I don't remember Sting's squad. I used to like vaguely kind of watch wrestling in the 90s with friends. Just it was kind of on in the background. I didn't really know what was going on, but I remember some of these things. And this was the main event at a War Games match, which Sting's squadron, featuring Sting, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, and Nikita Koloff, defeated the Dangerous Alliance, who was made of Stone Cold Steve Austin, I guess, Rick Rude, Am Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko. And this was a cage match, which are always kind of brutal. The cage matches, those were always kind of fun. You could watch it on YouTube. And Don't Call Me Fake is my favorite because we have that reference you had. We were wondering if that was real, so I looked it up, and it's a lot of fun because it features
Field, a wrestler who's just told us how every match is fake. I asked
John
Schultz
Stossel
questions that
interviewing
I assume all wrestlers have been asked
guy.
dozens of times.
What? Is this a good business?
Yeah, it's a good business. I
David
wouldn't be in
Schultz.
it if it wasn't.
Why is it a good business?
Because only the tough survive. That's the reason you ain't in it. And this punk holding the camera reading he ain't in it. Reading these rednecks out here ain't in it because it's a tough
It's
business.
wrestling.
That's terrific.
Wait, is that all you got?
I'll ask you the standard question. You know,
Standard question.
I think this is fake.
You think it's fake?
He just slapped John Stossel.
Huh? What the hell's wrong with you? That's open hand slap, huh? You think
He slapped him again. That is fucking hilarious. Yeah, that was John Stossel, if you don't know. Like, a young John Stossel. If you don't know John Stossel, he's kind of like this libertarian guy. You could find him on YouTube doing all kinds of things about... Look, is that thing still running? Nope. Sorry. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I didn't realize that was him until I saw the video. I'm like, oh my god, that's John Stossel getting the shit slapped out of him. That was fucking hilarious. Next song, the Hollywood Blondes. That was a well-known team... Hollywood Blondes, and it was featuring stunning Steve Austin. Is that Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the day? And flying Brian Pillman, who used the name as a heel, tag team World Wrestling Championship of 1992 to 1993. And yeah, so that's who I thought it was like talking about like wrestling chicks or something, but no, the Hollywood Blondes were like two dudes. So yeah, and the Big Wiggle, that refers to a signature dance made popular by the English-American wrestler Norman Smiley. So those are your facts. If
right.
if you have the real facts, Mr. Taylor, then you input, please.
That was very educational.
I try to educate as I used to do.
In conclusion, Wicked Is My Love, Atomic Drop.
Yes, it's a good album.
Very cool album. Very listenable, very exciting, very amusing. Very good. Good job. Check it out.
Yeah, well, great
job.
The one-man thing. I really like. It's very impressive how so many one-man things recently that we've been reviewing, and they're all very impressive. So I have no excuses not to do mine. All right, goodbye, everyone. We'll see you with our next review next week. Cool.